My beloved child, it is I, Jesus, speaking to your heart tonight. I see you there, perhaps sitting in the quiet of your room, or lying in your bed with thoughts that won't settle, with worries that feel too heavy to carry into sleep. I know the weight you bear, the restlessness that has become your unwelcome companion in these late hours. But tonight, I want to walk with you toward the peaceful shore of rest. You are not alone in your wakefulness. Throughout the ages, countless souls have found themselves in this very place, yearning for sleep, seeking peace, longing for that gentle embrace that only true rest can bring. I have walked with each of them, just as I walk with you now. In the stillness of this moment, I want to share with you not just words, but the very presence that calms the storms within. Tonight, let us journey together through memories of grace, through valleys of comfort, and along paths that lead to the quiet waters your soul has been seeking. I know your heart, its joys, its sorrows, its deepest longings. I know the burdens you carry, the fears that whisper in the darkness, the pain that sometimes feels too much to bear. But I also know something else. I know the peace that waits for you, the rest that has your name written upon it. As we walk together through this sacred time, allow my voice to become like a gentle stream flowing over the stones of your worry. Let these words wash over you like the warm embrace of a loving parent, like the soft whisper of wind through leaves on a summer evening. There is no rush here, no pressure to be anywhere other than exactly where you are. This is your time, your space, your moment to simply be held. I have seen you in your struggles, in your sleepless nights, in those moments when rest feels like a distant dream. I have watched you try so hard to find peace, to quiet the noise within. Tonight, I invite you to stop trying so hard. Tonight, I invite you to simply receive, to let yourself be loved, to let yourself be held, to let yourself be carried into the rest that I have prepared for you. The stories I'm about to share with you are not just tales from long ago. They are living truths, present realities, gentle invitations into the peace that surpasses all understanding. Each word is chosen with love, each pause filled with grace, each moment designed to draw you closer to that sweet surrender that leads to healing sleep. So settle in, my dear one. Let your shoulders drop, let your breathing slow, and let your heart prepare to receive the gift of rest that I long to give you. For in sharing these moments with you, something beautiful happens, not just for you, but for all who seek this same peace, this same healing, this same gentle journey into the arms of sleep. I want to take you with me to a place where peace begins, a garden that exists not just in memory, but in the eternal now, where your spirit can find its rest. This is the garden where I often went to pray, where I found solace in the quiet, hours where the weight of the world would dissolve in the presence of my Father's love. Picture this garden with me now. It's not the garden of struggle you may have heard about, but the garden of earlier times, when the evening light would filter through olive leaves like golden lace, when the air was sweet with the fragrance of jasmine and lavender. This is where I would come when my heart was full, when the day's teachings had touched souls, when I needed to simply be still and know that I am one with the Father. The path into this garden is worn smooth by countless footsteps, not just mine, but those of every seeker who has ever longed for peace. As we walk this path together, feel the soft earth beneath your feet, still warm from the day's sun, but cooling now in the gentle evening breeze. There are no hurried steps here, no urgent destinations. Each step is a prayer, each breath a blessing. I would often sit by a particular stone, weathered smooth by time and touched by countless prayers. It became my favorite place to rest, to let the concerns of the day flow away like water finding its natural course. Sitting there, I would watch the sky slowly paint itself in shades of rose and gold. And I would feel the deep contentment that comes from being exactly where you belong. The flowers in this garden have their own language of comfort. The roses speak of love that endures, their petals soft as the whispered prayers of mothers watching over sleeping children. The lilies tell stories of purity and new beginnings, their white faces turned toward heaven like souls seeking light. And the small wildflowers that grow between the stones remind us that beauty can flourish anywhere, that grace finds a way even in the most unlikely places. But it's not just the flowers that make this garden special. It's the silence that lives between all sounds. It's the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but full of presence, full of love, full of the quiet breathing of the divine. In this silence, I would often hear the whispers of every heart that was calling out in the darkness, every soul that was seeking rest, every spirit that was yearning for peace. And in those moments, I would pray for you. Yes, you who are listening. Now, across time and space, I was already praying for this very moment when you would need these words, when you would need this peace. I was asking the Father to prepare a place of rest for you, to make ready the healing that your soul requires, to smooth the path that would lead you to the sleep you so desperately need. Sometimes, as I sat in that garden, I would hear the gentle cooing of doves settling into their evening roosts. Their soft calls seemed to echo the love I felt for each person who would ever struggle with restless nights, who would ever lie awake wondering if peace was possible. Those doves seemed to carry messages of hope, promises that rest would come, assurances that no one who seeks peace with a sincere heart would be turned away. The evening star would appear as I prayed, that first bright point of light in the deepening sky. I would watch it emerge, steadfast and sure, and I would think of how it would guide travelers, how it would comfort those who looked up in the darkness and found direction, found hope, found the reminder that light always returns. This garden exists for you tonight, my beloved. It's not bound by time or place. It's wherever you are right now, created by the love that connects your heart to mine. As you listen to these words, you are already walking those gentle paths, already breathing that peaceful air, already feeling the soft earth of grace beneath your feet. The beautiful thing about this garden is that it's always accessible. When the world feels too loud, when your thoughts race like busy traffic, when sleep feels impossible, you can return. Here, you can sit on that smooth stone with me, watch the evening sky paint itself in colors of peace, and remember that you are loved beyond measure, held beyond fear, and blessed beyond understanding. And from this garden of gentle whispers, let us walk together toward the shore where heaven meets earth, where the rhythm of waves calls weary souls to rest. Come with me now to the water's edge, where the Sea of Galilee meets the shore in an eternal dance of giving and receiving. This is where I spent so many mornings and evenings, where the rhythm of the waves became like the heartbeat of eternity itself. Here, where the water touches the land, miracles happen not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, persistent way that peace seeps into troubled hearts. I want you to feel the sand beneath your feet, not harsh or coarse, but soft and welcoming, warmed by the sun throughout the day and now cooling in the gentle evening air. Each grain of sand is like a prayer, countless and unique, yet all part of the same beautiful whole. Just as you are unique and precious, yet part of the same tapestry of love that connects all creation. The water here is not the turbulent sea of storms, but the gentle, lapping waves that speak in whispers rather than roars. Listen to their rhythm. It's like a lullaby that has been sung since the beginning of time. A melody that knows the deepest longings of your heart. Each wave that touches the shore carries with it the healing power of divine love, washing away the residue of difficult days, cleansing the spirit of accumulated worry and fear. I often came here when the weight of healing others left me in need of healing myself. Yes, even I needed moments of restoration, times when the human heart I carried required the gentle touch of divine comfort. I would sit on the shore, sometimes with my feet in the water, sometimes on the smooth stones that lined the beach, and I would let the sound of the waves remind me of the endless nature of love. The water here has memory. It remembers every tear that has ever fallen into it, every prayer that has ever been whispered over its surface, every heart that has ever sought solace in its presence. And something beautiful happens when tears meet this water. They become part of something larger, part of the great ocean of compassion that connects all souls who have ever suffered, ever hoped, ever longed for peace. There's a particular spot where I would often sit, a place where a large, smooth rock provides the perfect backrest, where the view opens up to the horizon, where water meets sky in perfect harmony. From here, you can see how the evening light dances on the water's surface, creating millions of tiny diamonds that sparkle and disappear and sparkle again, like hopes being born and reborn in the human heart. The fishermen would sometimes pass by in their boats, their nets trailing behind them like prayers cast upon the water. They worked with such patience, such trust, knowing that their efforts would be rewarded in due time. There's something profoundly peaceful about watching work done with such quiet confidence, such deep trust in the process of receiving what is needed. But it's not just the fishermen who find sustenance here. The birds come to the gulls with their graceful flight, the herons with their patient stillness, the small sandpipers that dance along the water's edge like joy made visible. Each creature knows its place in this ecosystem of grace, each one receiving what it needs, each one contributing to the beautiful whole. I would sometimes wade into the water, feeling its coolness rise around my ankles, then my calves, then my knees. There's something about water that speaks to the deepest parts of our being. It cleanses, it refreshes, it reminds us that we are mostly water ourselves, that we are designed to flow, to move, to find our level of peace naturally when we stop fighting the current. The horizon here seems to stretch into infinity, and I would often gaze out at that endless line where earth meets heaven, where the known meets the unknown, where time touches eternity. In that gaze, I would hold every person who would ever struggle with sleepless nights, who would ever feel too anxious to rest, who would ever need the healing that only deep, peaceful sleep can bring. Sometimes, the most profound healing happens, not in dramatic moments, but in the gentle, consistent presence of love, like these waves that have been touching this shore for thousands of years. Love keeps coming, keeps offering itself, keeps washing over the wounded places in our hearts, until they are smooth and peaceful again. The water here knows your name, my beloved. It has been waiting for you to come to this shore, to let its healing rhythm calm your restless spirit, to let its gentle persistence wear away the rough edges of your worry. You don't need to do anything here except be present, except receive, except let yourself be held by the same love that holds the waves in their eternal dance. As the evening deepens and the first stars begin to appear, the water takes on a different quality. It becomes like liquid starlight, like captured peace, like the physical manifestation of the love that flows between heaven and earth. And in this transformed water, you can see your own reflection, but not as you see yourself in harsh daylight. Here you see yourself as I see you, beautiful, beloved, worthy of rest, deserving of peace. The gentle sound of the waves continues. Even as night falls, a constant reminder that love never stops flowing, never stops offering itself, never stops calling weary souls to rest. This sound will continue long after you've fallen asleep, carrying you deeper into the peace that passes understanding, deeper into the rest that your soul has been seeking. From the healing waters of the shore, let us journey together to the hillside where evening prayers rise like incense, where the very air is thick with divine presence. Above the shore, where the land rises gently toward the sky, there is a hillside that holds a special place in my heart. This is where I would go when the day's teachings were done, when the crowds had dispersed, when the disciples had settled into their evening routines. This hillside became my sanctuary, my place of communion with the Father, my refuge where the cares of the world would dissolve in the presence of infinite love. The path up this hillside is not steep or demanding. It rises gradually, like a gentle invitation rather than a challenge. Ancient olive trees line the way, their gnarled trunks telling stories of endurance, their silver-green leaves whispering secrets of survival and grace. These trees have weathered countless storms, countless seasons, countless years, yet they continue to bear fruit, continue to offer shade, continue to stand as witnesses to the enduring nature of divine love. As we climb together, notice how the view begins to change. The busy world below starts to fade, not disappearing entirely, but taking on a different perspective. The urgent concerns that seemed so overwhelming begin to look smaller, more manageable, like problems that can be solved with patience and trust rather than anxiety and force. This is what happens when we gain the perspective of eternity. Our troubles don't disappear, but they find their proper place in the larger story of love. Halfway up the hill, there's a natural clearing where wild grass grows soft and thick, creating a natural carpet for weary travelers. This is where I would often pause, not because I needed rest, but because I wanted to savor the beauty of this transition space, no longer fully in the world below, not yet at the summit, but in that sacred in-between place where earth and heaven seem to meet in perfect harmony. The air here is different, thinner, cleaner, filled with the scent of wild herbs and the distant salt of the sea. But more than that, it's filled with what I can only describe as the breath of the divine, the presence that makes every inhale a prayer and every exhale a blessing. When you breathe this air, you're not just filling your lungs with oxygen, you're filling your spirit with the very essence of peace. From this clearing, you can see the lights beginning to twinkle in the villages below, like earthbound stars, marking the places where families gather, where evening meals are shared, where children are tucked into bed with stories and lullabies. Each light represents a life, a hope, a prayer rising into the evening sky. And I would sit here, watching these lights appear one by one, praying for each household, each heart, each soul that was seeking rest and peace. The summit of this hillside is not marked by any grand monument or impressive structure. Instead, it's simply a place where the earth seems to reach up toward heaven with quiet confidence, where a large flat stone provides a perfect place for prayer and meditation. This stone has been worn smooth by countless nights of prayer, countless hours of communion with the divine, countless moments of surrender to the love that surpasses all understanding. Here, at the top, the the silence is profound but not empty. It's filled with the presence of all who have ever sought solace in prayer, all who have ever lifted their hearts toward heaven in hope, all who have ever found in the act of surrender the beginning of true peace. This is where I would spend hours in conversation with the Father, not in words that could be heard, but in the deeper language of the heart, the language of pure love. The evening sky from this vantage point is like a vast canvas painted with the colors of grace. The sun, as it sets, doesn't simply disappear. It transforms the entire heavens into a masterpiece of rose and gold, purple and deep blue colors that seem to come from beyond the visible spectrum, colors that speak directly to the soul without needing to pass through the eyes. I would often pray here not just for those who were present with me in that time, but for all who would come after, for you, listening now in your own time of need, for every person who would ever struggle with sleepless nights, for every soul who would ever question whether peace was possible. I would hold your name in my heart, even though I didn't know it yet, and I would ask the Father to prepare a place of rest for you, to make ready the healing that your spirit requires. Sometimes, as I prayed, I would feel the presence of angels, not as separate beings, but as the very atmosphere of love that surrounds all who seek divine comfort. Their presence wasn't dramatic or overwhelming, but gentle and reassuring, like the feeling of being held by someone who loves you unconditionally, like the sensation of being completely safe and completely accepted just as you are. The stars, when they appeared, seemed closer here, more accessible, more like friends than distant lights. Each star carried a message of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest night, light continues to shine, continues to offer guidance, continues to promise that dawn will come. I would sometimes name the stars for different kinds of healing, that one for broken hearts, this one for weary souls, that bright one for those who cannot sleep. As the night deepened, the temperature would cool, but never uncomfortably so. It was the kind of coolness that invites you to draw closer to the source of warmth, to seek the comfort that comes from divine presence, to wrap yourself in the invisible blanket of love that surrounds all who turn their hearts toward heaven in trust. The most beautiful part of praying on this hillside was the sense of connection, not just to the divine, but to every other soul who had ever sought peace, who had ever needed healing, who had ever longed for rest. In those moments of deep prayer, the boundaries between self and other, between past and present, between earth and heaven, seemed to dissolve, leaving only the pure experience of love giving and receiving itself. I would pray for the healing of insomnia, for the calming of anxiety, for the soothing of troubled hearts. I would pray for the kind of sleep that refreshes not just the body, but the soul, the kind of rest that allows the spirit to remember its true nature, its divine origin, its eternal destiny in love. And I would feel, in the depths of my being, the Father's response, not in words, but in the deep knowing that these prayers were heard, were answered, were already being fulfilled in ways that transcend human understanding. The descent from this hillside is always different from the climb up. Going down, you carry with you the peace you've received, the perspective you've gained, the blessing you've been given. The world below looks the same, but you see it with new eyes, eyes that have been cleansed by prayer, eyes that have been opened to the divine presence that exists everywhere, in everything, in everyone. This hillside of evening prayers is not just a memory from long ago. It exists wherever you are right now, whenever you turn your heart toward heaven in trust, whenever you seek the peace that only comes from above. As you listen to these words, You are already climbing that gentle path, already breathing that sacred air, already feeling the peace that comes from being in the presence of infinite love. From the heights of prayer, let us descend together into the valley where sheep rest safely, where the Good Shepherd watches over all who need protection and peace. In the gentle valley below the hillside of prayers, there is a place where peace takes physical form, a green pasture where the grass grows thick and soft, where a clear stream runs with water that never fails, where the very air seems to hum with the contentment of souls at rest. This is where I would take my sheep, where I would lead them to the safety and comfort that every heart desires, where I would demonstrate through my care for them the care that I have for you. The path into this valley is well worn, marked by the countless footsteps of those who have found their way to rest. It's not hidden or hard to find. It's open to all who seek it, all who recognize their need for a shepherd, all who understand that true peace comes not from our own efforts, but from surrendering to the care of one who loves us unconditionally. As we enter this valley together, notice how the sounds of the world fade away. The noise of traffic, the buzz of electronics, the chatter of anxious thoughts, all of these begin to quiet, replaced by the gentle sounds of nature at peace. The soft bleating of sheep, the whisper of wind through grass, the musical babbling of the stream. These become the soundtrack of your healing, the lullaby that will carry you toward the rest you seek. The grass here is unlike any other. It's not just green, but alive with the kind of life that comes from being constantly nourished by divine love. When you lie down in this grass, it's not just soft beneath your body, but healing to your spirit. It seems to absorb the tension from your muscles, the worry from your mind, the restlessness from your heart. This is the grass of peace, the pasture of healing, the place where souls come to remember what it feels like to be truly safe. I want you to see the sheep as they rest. They're not anxious about tomorrow's grass or yesterday's storms. They're not calculating how much water they need or worrying about whether they'll be safe through the night. They simply rest, trusting that their shepherd will provide, will protect, will guide them to everything they need. This is the kind of trust I want to cultivate in your heart. Not the trust that comes from understanding everything, but the trust that comes from knowing you are loved. The stream that runs through this valley is more than just water. It's the flow of divine grace, the current of love that never stops moving, never stops offering itself, never stops bringing refreshment to thirsty souls. When you drink from this stream, you're not just satisfying physical thirst, but spiritual thirst. The deep longing for connection, for peace, for the sense that you belong somewhere, that you are wanted, that you are home. There's a particular spot by the stream where I would often sit, a place where the water forms a small pool, deep enough to see your reflection, but shallow enough to feel safe. This pool has become sacred to me because it's where I would look into the water and see not just my own face, but the face of every person I shepherd, every soul I guide, every heart I hold. In that pool, I would see you, and I would smile, knowing that someday you would find your way to this place of peace. The trees that line this valley are not just for shade, they're for shelter, for protection, for the kind of security that allows deep rest. Their branches interweave overhead like protective arms, like the embrace of divine love made visible. Under these trees, you can rest without fear, sleep without anxiety, surrender without worry. Nothing can harm you here. Nothing can disturb your peace. Nothing can separate you from the love that surrounds you. As evening approaches in this valley, the light doesn't fade harshly but gentles gradually, like a loving parent dimming the lights in a child's room. the sky takes on the soft colors of comfort, pale pink like the blush of contentment, gentle gold like the warmth of being held, deep purple like the mystery of divine love. These colors seem to seep into the very air, creating an atmosphere of peace that penetrates to the deepest parts of your being. I would walk among the sheep in these evening hours, checking on each one, making sure each was comfortable, each was safe, each was at peace. And as I walked, I would think of you, wherever you are, whenever you are, and I would extend that same care to you across time and space. I would speak your name, even though I might not know it yet, and I would bless you with the same peace I blessed those sheep. The beautiful thing about sheep is that they know their shepherd's voice. In a crowd of voices, in the chaos of competing sounds, they can always distinguish the voice of the one who cares for them. And tonight, as you listen to these words, you're learning to recognize my voice again, to distinguish it from all the other voices that clamor for your attention, to tune in to the frequency of love that has been calling to you all along. Sometimes, when a sheep was particularly restless or frightened, I would sit with it, my hand on its wool, my voice soft and reassuring, until it relaxed into my care. I would sing to it, not grand songs, but simple melodies that spoke of safety, of love, of the promise that all would be well. And gradually, the sheep would settle, its breathing would slow, its body would release the tension it had been carrying, and it would find the peace it had been seeking. This is what I want to do for you tonight. I want to sit with you in your restlessness, to place my hand on your worried heart, to sing to you the songs of peace that I've been singing since the beginning of time. I want to stay with you until you feel safe enough to rest, until you trust enough to let go, until you love yourself enough to receive the gift of healing sleep. The night sounds in this valley are different from the night sounds of the world. They're not disturbing or frightening, but comforting and reassuring. The soft hoot of an owl, the gentle chirping of crickets, the distant sound of the stream flowing over stones. These become the natural soundtrack of peace, the lullaby that nature sings to help weary souls find rest. As the stars appear overhead, each one seems to be a promise that you are watched over, that you are cared for, that you are never alone. The moon, when it rises, casts a gentle silver light over the valley, a light that doesn't disturb sleep but enhances peace, that doesn't create harsh shadows but soft, comforting shapes that speak of protection and love. This valley exists for you, my beloved sheep. It's not a place you have to earn or deserve. It's a gift, freely given, constantly available. Whenever you feel lost, whenever you feel afraid, whenever you feel too tired to go on, you can find your way here, to this place of safety, this place of peace, this place where the Good Shepherd watches over all who need rest. From the peaceful valley, let us journey together to the quiet room where hearts find healing, where the very walls seem to breathe with divine presence. There is a room that exists beyond the boundaries of physical space, a room prepared specifically for hearts that need healing, souls that need restoration, spirits that need the gentle touch of divine love. This is where I bring those who have been wounded by life, who have carried pain too long, who have forgotten what it feels like to be whole. Tonight, I want to bring you into this room to show you the healing that awaits, to give you the peace that has been prepared especially for you. The door to this room is always open, not because it lacks security, but because love never locks out those who seek it. As you cross the threshold, you immediately feel the difference in the air. It's warmer here, not with the heat of temperature, but with the warmth of acceptance, of unconditional love, of the presence that says, you are welcome here, just as you are. The walls of this room are not made of ordinary materials. They're made of compassion, built from the accumulated prayers of all who have ever sought healing, strengthened by the love that flows between heaven and earth. These walls have witnessed countless moments of restoration, countless tears of relief, countless hearts learning to beat with the rhythm of peace again. The lighting in this room is perfect, not too bright to overwhelm sensitive spirits, not too dim to hide the beauty of what's happening here. It's the kind of light that makes everything look more beautiful, more hopeful, more possible. Under this light, you can see yourself not as you sometimes fear you are, but as you truly are, beloved, valuable, worthy of healing, deserving of peace. There's a chair in this room, and it's exactly the right size for you. It's not too big to make you feel small, not too small to make you feel cramped. It's perfectly proportioned for your body, perfectly positioned for your comfort, perfectly prepared for your needs. This is your chair, made with you in mind, waiting for you to settle into its embrace. As you sit in this chair, you begin to notice something remarkable happening. The weight you've been carrying, the weight of worry, of disappointment, of fear, of sleepless nights, begins to lift. It doesn't disappear all at once, but gradually, gently, like fog lifting from a valley in the morning sun. You're not losing anything you need to keep. You're only releasing what has been holding you back from peace. The air in this room is filled with the fragrance of healing, not a perfume or incense, but the actual scent of restoration, the aroma of wounds being cleansed, of hearts being mended, of spirits being renewed. It's the most beautiful scent you've ever encountered, and it seems to penetrate not just your nose, but your entire being, filling you with the knowledge that healing is not just possible, but inevitable. There's a window in this room, and through it, you can see the most beautiful garden. It's not the same garden we visited earlier, but a garden of possibilities, a garden of dreams being restored, a garden where every flower represents a hope coming back to life, every tree represents a strength being renewed, every butterfly represents a joy being reborn. I move around this room with the gentle confidence of one who has been here many times before, one who knows every corner, every shadow, every place where healing happens. I know where the tears fall, where the prayers rise, where the miracles occur. And I know that your healing has already begun, just by your willingness to be here, just by your openness to receive what I long to give. Sometimes the healing happens in words, gentle words that speak truth to the lies you've believed about yourself. Loving words that replace the harsh voices that have echoed in your mind. Peaceful words that quiet the chaos of anxious thoughts. Other times, the healing happens in silence, the kind of silence that's not empty, but full of presence, full of love, full of the peace that passes understanding. There's a small table beside your chair, and on it sits a cup of water. But this is not ordinary water. It's the water of life. The water that satisfies not just physical thirst, but spiritual thirst. The water that brings healing to every part of your being. As you drink from this cup, you can feel the healing spreading through your body, your mind, your spirit, like gentle rivers flowing to every place that needs restoration. The beautiful thing about this room is that time works differently here. You don't need to rush your healing, don't need to hurry your restoration. You can take as long as you need, stay as long as you want, receive as much as you can hold. There's no schedule here except the schedule of love, no timeline except the timeline of grace, no pressure except the gentle pressure of divine love drawing you toward wholeness. As you sit in this room, you begin to remember things you had forgotten, how it feels to be truly safe, how it feels to be completely accepted, how it feels to be loved without condition or reservation. These memories aren't from your past, but from your true nature, from the deepest part of yourself that has always been connected to divine love, that has always been whole, that has always been at peace. The healing that happens in this room is not just for you, it's for everyone whose life you touch, everyone whose heart you influence, everyone whose spirit you encourage. As you receive healing, you become a source of healing for others. As you find peace, you become a bearer of peace. As you experience love, you become a channel of love. Sometimes, people worry that if they allow themselves to be healed, if they let go of their pain, they'll lose something important, some part of their identity or their strength. But in this room, you discover that healing doesn't take away your strength. It reveals your true strength. It doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you've always been beneath the layers of pain and fear. The chair in this room is not just for sitting, it's for resting, for surrendering, for allowing yourself to be held by love that has no limits, no conditions, no end. As you rest in this chair, you're not just resting your body, you're resting your spirit, your mind, your heart, all the parts of yourself that have been working so hard to hold everything together. From the healing room, let us walk together to the final destination of our journey, the peaceful bedroom where perfect rest awaits, where sleep comes as naturally as breathing. Our journey together has led us to this final destination, the bedroom where perfect rest awaits, where sleep comes not as a struggle, but as a gift, where the very air seems to whisper lullabies of peace. This is the room that has been prepared for you since the beginning of time, the place where your weary soul can finally find the rest it has been seeking. The bed in this room is not just furniture, it's a sanctuary, a place of refuge, a physical manifestation of divine love's desire to hold you, to comfort you, to give you the rest that your spirit craves. The mattress is perfectly suited to your body, neither too soft nor too firm, but exactly right for your needs. The pillows are like clouds of comfort, designed to cradle your head and neck in perfect alignment, perfect peace. The sheets on this bed are woven from the finest threads of comfort, soft as silk but strong as love itself. They're not just white, but luminous, as if they've been blessed by moonbeams, as if they carry within their fibers the very essence of peaceful sleep. When you pull these sheets up to your chin, you're not just covering your body, you're wrapping yourself in the embrace of divine love. The room itself is the perfect temperature for sleep, not too warm to cause restlessness, not too cool to create discomfort, but that perfect temperature that allows your body to relax completely, to surrender to the natural rhythms of rest. The air here is pure and clean, filled with the gentle fragrance of peace, the subtle scent of healing, the almost imperceptible aroma of love itself. There are no harsh sounds in this room, no disturbing noises to pull you back from the edge of sleep. Instead, there's the gentle sound of a distant stream, the soft whisper of wind through trees, the barely audible melody of angels singing lullabies. These sounds don't demand your attention, they simply provide a peaceful background, a sonic landscape that guides you deeper into rest. The lighting in this room is perfect for sleep, soft and gentle, like the last rays of sunset filtering through silk curtains. There's a warm, golden glow that doesn't hurt your eyes but soothes them, that doesn't stimulate your mind but calms it. As you settle into this bed, the light gradually dims, not abruptly, but with the same gentle rhythm as your breathing slowing, your heartbeat calming, your spirit finding its natural state of peace. The walls of this bedroom are painted in the colors of tranquility, soft blues like a peaceful sky, gentle greens like healing waters, warm creams like the embrace of morning light. These colors don't just please the eye, they speak directly to your soul, reminding you at the deepest level that you are safe, you are loved, you are exactly where you belong. As you lie in this bed, you can feel your body beginning to release all the tension it has been carrying. Your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, your hands unfold. Each muscle group, starting from the top of your head and moving slowly down to the tips of your toes, begins to let go of the day's stress, the week's worry, the accumulated fatigue of trying so hard to manage everything on your own. Your breathing, which may have been shallow or irregular, begins to deepen and slow. Each breath becomes a prayer, each exhale a release, each inhale a receiving of peace. You don't have to think about your breathing, it's happening naturally, automatically, as your body remembers what it feels like to be completely at rest. I am here with you in this room, not as a presence that disturbs your peace, but as the very essence of peace itself. You can sense my love surrounding you like the softest blanket, my care watching over you like the gentlest guardian, my blessing resting upon you like the most tender kiss goodnight. The beautiful thing about this bedroom is that it's not just a place for sleeping, it's a place for healing. As you rest here, your body heals, your mind clears, your spirit renews itself. The cells of your body repair themselves, the pathways of your mind clear of debris, the wounds of your heart close and heal. This is sleep that restores not just your energy, but your hope, your faith, your love, your thoughts, which may have been racing or spinning in circles, begin to slow and settle. The worries that seemed so urgent an hour ago now seem manageable, distant, unimportant. The problems that felt overwhelming now appear in their proper perspective as temporary. Challenges that will be met with adequate resources, as puzzles that will be solved with patience and wisdom, as opportunities for growth and grace. As sleep approaches, you can feel it coming not as an interruption or an escape, but as a natural completion, a perfect ending to this day. A beautiful transition into the realm of dreams and rest. Sleep comes to you like a gentle friend, like a loving parent, like the embrace of divine love itself. The last thing you're aware of as consciousness fades is the sense of being completely held, completely loved, completely at peace. You're not falling asleep alone. You're being carried into rest by the arms of infinite love, being sung to sleep by the lullabies of heaven, being watched over by the God who never sleeps so that you can sleep in perfect security. And now, as perfect rest embraces you, let us complete our journey with words of blessing and the promise of peace that will carry you through all your nights. My beloved child, our journey together tonight is drawing to its gentle close. But the peace we've shared, the love we've experienced, the rest we've found, these continue on, flowing like a river that never stops, shining like a light that never dims, embracing like arms that never tire. You have walked with me through the garden of gentle whispers, where peace first touched your heart. You have stood with me on the shore of healing waters, where the waves of divine love washed over your weary spirit. You have climbed with me to the hillside of evening prayers, where heaven and earth meet in perfect harmony. You have rested with me in the valley of the Good Shepherd, where safety and comfort surround every soul. You have been healed with me in the room of healing hearts, where wounds are cleansed and spirits are renewed. And finally, you have found with me the bedroom of perfect rest, where sleep comes as naturally as breathing, where peace is not just a hope, but a reality. These places are not just memories now. They are part of you, woven into the fabric of your being, accessible whenever you need them. When sleepless nights come, when anxiety rises, when peace seems distant, you can return. To these sacred spaces in your heart, you can walk these paths again. You can find again the rest that has been prepared for you. Remember, my dear one, that you are never alone in your struggles with sleep, never forgotten in your need for peace. I am always with you, always watching over you, always ready to carry you into the rest that your soul requires. Sleep now, in the perfect peace of divine love, knowing that you are held, you are blessed, and you are deeply, eternally loved. The peace of God, which passes all understanding, keeps your heart and mind in perfect rest. Sleep well, my beloved. Sleep in peace. Amen.